Hi everyone, my name is Cynthia Chuzozo and I would like to share my story. I was born and raised in Rwanda, a beautiful country located in the central east of Africa, with a deep history of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsis. My parents lived through the genocide, yet they spoke about their story with resilience and gratitude towards God. I saw no anger or resentment. They shared their experiences by focusing on what they had gained rather than what they lost. What amazed me was that with no therapy, they were still able to live with peace. I always found that inspiring. They taught me that no matter how life gets, difficult, I could always find strength in prayer and within myself. I did most of my lower education in Rwanda before moving to China. And when I went to China, I studied medicine. I was so excited because I was doing what I loved. But the journey was not always easy because of cultural differences, academic pressure, and stress, and moments of feeling lost because I didn't know who I was fully. So during those times, I found refuge in faith, going to church, engaging in different church activities, and leaning on the community around me, classmates, friends, and the random community in my city. So that period of my life taught me something very important, that true fulfillment isn't just found in career success, it's in our values, our faith, and the connections that uplift us. So it's about being connected to something that is bigger than ourselves. After medical school, I returned to Rwanda. I worked in public health during the pandemic. I really loved being close to my family. But a part of me wanted to grow, wanted to study more. I explored different specialties. The one that I loved, but in particular, it was psychiatry. I always found mental health fascinating. So one day, when I was talking to my family members in Canada, we discussed the possibility of me continuing my studies there. So they sent me some course options. One of them was addictions and mental health. And the moment I read about it, something inside of me clicked. I was already interested in mental health, and addiction was a topic that I wanted to understand more. So I knew that that was my path. So I applied, got accepted, then I moved to Canada to study. And that program changed my life and the way I viewed, you know, so many things in healthcare. So I was introduced to the biopsychosocial model, which looks at mental health and addiction through the biological, psychological, and social factors. So for the first time, I saw my own story reflected in what I was learning, the resilience of my parents, the psychological impact of trauma, and the power of having a community. So as a doctor, I had been trained in the biomedical model, which mainly focuses on the body, symptoms, and treatment. But this new perspective showed me a deeper way to understand healing. After graduation, I applied uh, at so many jobs. When I finally got an interview, I barely remembered the position, but the position was outreach life skills worker in addictions and mental health department. It was not my dream job, but it was a good start for me. Uh, at first, I struggled. The work felt unfulfilling, and I questioned my decision to move. Some mornings, I didn't even want to get out of bed. Then one day, I decided to speak to my coworker, who was a mental health clinician, to express how unfulfilled I was feeling at work. So they asked me a simple yet powerful question: what do you need to put out in the world to feel fulfilled? The answer came easily. I said kindness, compassion, love, and helping people and healing. So that moment changed everything, I would say. Instead of resisting where I was, I leaned in. I started paying attention to the needs of the people I serve. And in doing so, I found deeper meaning in my work. And I always say that it was at my lowest that I found my highest purpose. I took a step back and assessed my life. I had no life outside of work that truly brought me fulfillment. And at work, I wasn't really present. I was constantly resisting, feeling stuck in a role that didn't feel like mine. I started volunteering outside of work, going to church, singing whenever I could because I love singing. That really helped me realize something. Sometimes we overthink our problems when in reality, nothing has the power to shift who we are. If I am a healer or a leader, I could embody those roles in my current position as well. So I embraced my new role. But even as I leaned in, I felt myself, burning out, exhausted, anxious, and empty. I searched for a therapist, but deep down I wanted someone who can truly understand. And then one night, I had one of those, 3 a.m. wake ups where those moments where you find yourself thinking about life, and in that silence, I had a revelation where God spoke to me. He told me, whatever you need, ask me. I have a broader perspective of who you are, where you came from, and where you're going. And He understands the past, the present, and the future. That moment changed everything. I had been looking for, external validation all along when everything was inside of me. So I turned to my nature, where I was praying, reflecting, reading the Bible, what my parents always taught me. So I later heard one question on a podcast. I believe it was from Michael Singer. He said, would you rather navigate through the world by yourself, or would you rather let God navigate it, for you? So I chose God. Um, this shift really transformed my life, and it changed the way I viewed mental health. Many people I worked with, my clients, had defined themselves, or identified themselves with their struggles, their diagnosis, and I didn't always know their diagnosis, but which made me not see them as their diagnosis. So I saw them as people who were just human beings who are experiencing challenges. So I realized that healing begins when we see beyond our pain, when we claim our identity of what we've been through. And I became passionate about speaking life to people using affirmations and an unjudgmental approach and my own strength to guide them towards self compassion, being whole, and the truth. Dr. Gabor Mate once said, compassion is not about making people feel good, it's about guiding them to the truth with intense presence. That really resonated with me too. True healing is not about treating symptoms, it's about reconnecting with who we are at our core and developing life skills to navigate challenges. I am so grateful for every step of my journey and the difficult ones too, because each and every experience taught me a lesson. It helped me align my strengths with my purpose, and it brought me closer to my calling. So I could tell this story in a different way with another, view, focusing on the struggles, the hardships, but that's not my truth. I am a champion of my own life, and I want you to see yourself the same way. I created Global Mental Health Hub because I believe that healing should be holistic, blending faith, trusting that things are working out, science, cultural wisdom, and developing that inner strength. This is a space where we can support one another on this journey of growth and resilience. So I invite you to embrace your story, see beyond the challenges, recognize the strength that already exists within you, and always remember In moments of darkness, light is always present. And in moments of chaos, peace is always available. We get to choose. Let's work together. Thank you.